Today I designed 8 toons that most definitely would be rejected for Dandy's World. So today's theme is essentially based off a tradition in Korea. Basically, when a baby turns 1, we have this tradition called 돌잡이, where we put these items that each have a different meaning to essentially decide a baby's fate. Like, are they going to become a doctor or a lawyer like our ancestors would have wanted them to be? From what I could find, this tradition came about because a lot of babies would pass away before their first birthday. So if a baby survived to become 1 year old, then that's essentially a huge celebration. Now you get to determine your fate on what you're going to be, and we're totally not going to place high expectations on you. I did actually do 돌잡이 as well, and I asked my grandmother what I got, and one of the items, or one of the toons I designed is based off that item, so you know, stick around till the end if you want to know what I picked. So this first item I feel like can definitely show up in Dandy's World. I feel like it's very viable because a lot of the characters are based off of different items and objects, and I basically settled on a soccer ball. It can be any sort of ball in 돌잡이. Basically symbolizes you're going to become an athlete, or you're just going to be very athletic and good at sports. So the reason why I went with the soccer ball, I'm not into sports, but my family really loves soccer or football and everywhere else in the world. I'm sorry America calls it soccer. We're weird, I know. But I'm abysmal when it comes to names, so I had to look up soccer terms, like, oh, what are different terms that they would use? And I decided on Striker. I mean, if you want to give me your own names, you're free to do so, but I'm calling him Striker. So my next victim is based off a Polaroid camera, because apparently, well, this object wasn't in my niece's 돌잡이, but apparently a common item that can appear is a camera, which means you're going to be a photographer pretty much. It's self-explanatory. And I decided to opt for a Polaroid camera because I thought that would be cute, I don't know. The reason why I chose this outfit to be like this, I mean, I could have added patterns, but, you know, I kind of threw this on quickly. Maybe I'll refine these designs later on. This next one, it hits the nail on the head for sure. It's just so basic. But this was also in my niece's ceremony. This is probably one of the more common ones that will show up in every 돌잡이. Basically a gavel, so I think it's self-explanatory. Someone that's going to go to law school, work in the field of law. They might be a lawyer, attorney, judge, whatever it may be, but now your fate is sealed because you decided to grab a gavel as a 1-year-old that knows nothing about life. So good luck to that baby. But basically his name is not that creative either. I opted for Lawson. I don't know, that's like the best I could come up with, y'all. So this next one is actually my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite, and I feel like she could be like my non-Dandy's World character as well. Like, I kind of want to build on her lore some more. So basically, I couldn't think of a name, so you guys feel free to think of names, but as a placeholder name, her name is Yanni. That's like the first thing that came to mind. But she's a ball of yarn. So what does the ball of yarn symbolize? It basically means that they're going to live a long life. And I decided to go with red because I was thinking like red string of fate and stuff like that, and no, that's the color I settled on. And when I was designing her, I was like, oh, you know what would be cute? Like, since she's a ball of yarn, what if I like gave her little buns that are made out of yarn on her hair? And then, you know how some people, when they do buns, it like strands of hair sticks out, so I made it like the strands of yarn sticking out, and I thought it was super cute, and I just really love her. I know her design is really simple, like, I mean, I might like play around with it and make something out of it, but she's probably like my favorite out of everyone I created in this set. So the next one I picked, that's typically wanted in Asian families, is a doctor. I couldn't settle on a name. Like, either I was just gonna name her Steph, like short for stethoscope, or like Dr. Steph. So I think Dr. Steph works a little bit better because she's supposed to be a doctor. So as you can see, she's a stethoscope. I kind of struggled with it because I was like, oh, how am I supposed to make this into a toon? Especially because it's, you know, technically it's not supposed to be colored in, but I decided to just give her face like that and then have the stethoscope around her face. And it curls around almost like a scarf around her neck. I thought that would have been cute. And then the reason why I picked that color for her face and hands was I was thinking of the gloves that they use in a doctor's office, you know, like the ones that doctors use. I think it's a pretty similar color to what I was imagining. So the next one, I technically forgot to record a time lapse in Clip Studio Paint like an idiot, so you're going to see a still image. The items that I saw were like, it could be a chef's hat or spatula, so I decided to, you know, mush those two together to be a chef. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And I decided to give him a mustache for fun because I'm not gonna lie, what I was thinking about was like Papa's Pizzeria. That was like the only thing I could think about, so I guess like his placeholder name is like Emilio, because I didn't want to call him like Papa something because I felt like that was like too stereotypical. Even the mustache is pretty stereotypical, not gonna lie. But he's a chef character. So this next one I feel like cannot fit in Dandy's world, but I still decided to roll with it because an item that can show up in Tourjabi is a mic, which, I mean, I guess the first thing any normal person would think of is, oh, that means like a pop star, right? Like a singer. Well, it's not just a singer, it's just an entertainer in general, because when you think about it, it could be like a comedian, because when someone does stand-up comedy, they have a mic up on the stage. So it doesn't have to necessarily mean you're going to be a musical artist, it could be any sort of entertainer. But I guess with her body shape and stuff, she would be too tall because a lot of the Toons are basically like a similar like height and shape. So I feel like for her, she could be like a non-Dandy's World Toon, but I just decided to add her here because of the theme. Now my last character, I also forgot to record the time lapse like an idiot. So this item is what you've been waiting for. It's the item I picked when I was a baby and I had my first birthday, and it's definitely the most exciting one. I picked a pencil. I know. I don't know what I was thinking as a baby and why I picked a pencil, but I guess the pencil really called out to me. So I asked my grandmother, I was like, does that mean if I pick a pencil that I'm supposed to be like studious, like good at school? And she's like, yes, that's the meaning. But I also assigned my own meaning for the pencil because I'm not saying I'm dumb. It's more like if I actually put in effort for school, I would have done so much better, but I also don't give a shit about school, so my grades are average, okay? If I actually put in effort, I would do well, but I actually don't, so that's a problem in of itself. My personal meaning for the pencil is that I've always loved to draw when I was a kid. I also love to write, so I would associate it with creativity as well, not just, you know, intelligence or like, you know, being a scholar. But this is Mr. Graphite. This is not a placeholder name. I just ended up deciding on Mr. Graphite. I thought it'd be cute. And even though he may not fit in Dandy's world, I feel like I could see him being like a mascot for something. So yeah, let me know if you had a favorite design for any of them and what you thought. I'm sure they were really simple because they were pretty quick, but it was like a fun exercise for me. And should I create twisted versions of them? Because I mean, I'm not that confident, but I think it would be fun. Should I create more fan-made Dandy's World Toons? Is that something you would be interested in? If so, give me a theme and I'll roll with it. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. See ya!